Mr. McDowell.
Thank you, Chairman. Public transportation has received more federal funding since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic than at any point in American history. Emergency relief packages from 2020 to 2021 spent a cumulative $70 billion on the nation's public transportation systems, while the 2021 IIJA authorized a staggering $108 billion for transit programs. Put simply, the transit sector has received a massive infusion of taxpayer dollars over the past couple years. Despite this historic investment, ridership rates continue to decline and costs poured into operating and maintaining transit systems are infrequently recovered. As this committee considers the future of public transit funding, I believe that we must find ways to stop the bleeding. I thank the witnesses for testifying before the subcommittee today, and I look forward to discussing creative solutions to the current problems facing the public transit sector. Mr. Butterbaugh, in your testimony, you describe how contracted service worked to restore monthly ridership in Durham, North Carolina. In your opinion, how can public transit entities coordinate with the private sector to improve both services and safety in a way that is financially sustainable in the long term? And specifically, what do private sector partners and operators bring to the table that can help improve transit efficiencies?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think in the case of Durham, it's an interesting kind of use case, because in Durham, as we're carrying out kind of the vision for service for the agency, they come to us and kind of share what that vision looks like. And then we go to work in terms of finding more efficient ways for them to execute that. And many times it comes down to simply a question of resources. A lot of the agencies are resource strained. They bring in a private operator in to really help kind of reassess what's needed to move forward. And we help them to look for ways to run service more efficiently, to invest in safety programs that at the end of the day mean that we're running a more reliable and safe service. So these are all things that we do as we come to the table and kind of partner with our agency customers to better equip them to carry out what they see in the future. Specific to ridership, I think in Durham, the focus that they had there was trying to figure out how to serve the needs of an evolving community. So not just simply running services that has always been run in the past, but looking at who are the people in the community that are most dependent on public transit, who are those that they could maybe work with to coax away from their cars, and come up with innovative new programs and coverage models that help drive that ridership. And so I think that's really the key for agencies is really being in a position where they take that step back and take a look at the broader landscape of what the needs of the community are, and then figure out from a multimodal standpoint, how can they serve those needs better in the future?
Gotcha, thank you. Ms. Klein, as discussed earlier, transit programs have received nearly $180 billion over the past few years. In the previous administration, the FTA tacked on gratuitous environmental justice criteria for many of the funding notices, which had nothing to do with the agency's mission of improving reliable transit service. Prioritizing green investments, in my opinion, does little to help with transit ridership levels or efficiency. In your opinion, how can Congress get the biggest bang for its buck when it comes to federal investments in transit infrastructure?
Thank you for the interesting question. I think that we all, especially rural agencies, are facing multiple challenges already without the multitude of ones that you discussed initially in your question. So, are all of those regulations really necessary for agencies receiving under a certain dollar amount? Let's say $1 million or even $10 million. Most rural agencies don't get that much. So again, it's one of those right-sizing regulations to fit the type of agency. And I think one of the most fair ways is to do it by the dollar amount that an agency receives. Leave the rest of it up to the state to monitor.
Gotcha. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, yield back.